House, my precious warriors, and my all lovely, beautiful stars. Warmly welcome here. This session is made for you, for your requirement. This meditation is created for relaxation, emotional comfort, and sleep support. It is not intended to replace medical advice, diagnosis, or mental health treatment. If you are experiencing severe depression, trauma, anxiety, or thoughts of self harm, please seek support from a qualified mental health professional or trusted person in your life. This is only for your support. Okay? You'll take your time. Please settle in this session. Then I'll start. I hope you like my sessions, right? Hi, Vikas. Hi, Vikas Purohit. Welcome in there my session. I'll wait for all. Please don't mind. If you have time to stay here, so please stay. I'll just start my session in 1 minute. Okay? So let's begin. Once again, welcome my beautiful souls, my night owls, my PCS warriors, and my all lovely peoples. If you found your way here tonight, perhaps your heart has been carrying a sadness that words could never full explain. Perhaps you have lost someone you loved. Perhaps you have lost a dream, a relationship, a part of yourself, or perhaps life simply doesn't feel the way it once did. And even since that loss, something inside you has changed. Maybe there are moments when everything feels normal, and then suddenly a song, a place, a memory bring all the pain rushing back again. Maybe you have spent nights wondering why life had to change, why things couldn't stay the same, why some people leaves, while our love for them remains, and perhaps you have become so tired of carrying this invisible weight that even rest feels impossible. If that where you are tonight, I want you to know something. You do not have to hide your grief here. You do not have to pretend that you are strong. You do not have to convince anyone that you have already healed. For the next little while, there is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing you need to explain, nothing you need to fix tonight. You are allowed to miss that you have lost. You are allowed to feel angry. You are free to allowed to feel confused. And you are also allowed to cry. You are allowed to feel absolutely nothing at all. Whatever lives inside your heart tonight, it's belong here. Because grief is not a weakness. It is not proof that you are broken. Grief is simply love looking for a place to go and something sometime where we lost someone or something that mattered deeply to us. We bring to fear that the darkness will never end, that joy will never return, that will carry the pain forever. But tonight, I'm not here to take your grief away. I'm not here to tell you to move on. And I'm not to here to convince you that everything happens for a reason. Everyone knows. Tonight, I simply want to sit beside you in the quiet and remind you that even in the longest night, there is still the smallest glimpse of light waiting patiently in the distance. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to force yourself to feel better. For now, all you need to do is breathe. Take a slow, deep breath in and gently breathe out. Again, a slow breathe in and a long, comfortable breathe out like this. Allow your shoulder to soften. Relax your jaws. Try to unclench them. Let your hands rest. And if it feels safe to do so, gently close your eyes. There is nothing you need to carry alone. For this one quiet hour tonight, we will walk through the darkness together. One memory, one breath, one gentle step at a time. And somewhere along the way, perhaps your heart will begin to remember that even after loss, even after heartbreak, even after the deepest grief, light still exists. And when you are ready, will be. As you continue to rest here, breathing slowly, allow yourself to return not to the pain itself, but to the memory, moment when everything changed. Perhaps it happened suddenly. A phone call in the middle of the night, a conversation you never expected to have, a goodbye you didn't know didn't know would be the last, or perhaps the loss arrived quietly, like the slow fading of something you once held close, a relationship that slowly slipped away, a dream that no longer felt possible, a version of yourself that somehow despaired along the way. Whatever your story may be, there is often a moment in grief when life divides itself into two parts, the life before and the life after. One day, everything feels familiar. The world moves as it always has. People laughed, car passed by, the sun rises, and then something changes, and suddenly the world no longer looks the same. You look around and everything appears normal, but inside nothing feels normal anymore. Perhaps you remember the disbeliefs, the way your mind refused to accept what your heart already knew. Perhaps a part of you kept hoping that someone would tell you there had been a mistake, that you would wake up and discover that none of it was real. Because sometimes when your heart experiences something too painful. They protect us, they wrap us in shock, they surround us with numbness, not because we are weak, but because no human heart was meant to carry so much pain all at once. Maybe that is where you are tonight, still trying to understand how life could change so quietly and quickly, still wondering how the world keeps moving when your own word seems to stop, and perhaps there is a part of it that feels guilty for the things left unsaid, for the world you wish you had spoken, for the moment you wish you could reveal one more time. But tonight, for just this moment, can you allow yourself to put that guilt down? You warm inside. You were human. You loved in the only way you knew how. You made mistake the way every human being does, and you carried hopes, fear, and dreams just like everyone else. Take a slow breathe in and gentle breathe it out. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a quiet field after a storm. The wind has settled, the rain has stopped, but all around you the landscape has changed. At first, the silence feels overwhelming. You don't know where to go. You don't know what comes next. You simply stand there, trying to understand what has happened. And perhaps grief feels a little like that. Not like a single moment of pain, but like waking up in a world you no longer recognize. A world where someone is missing, where something beautiful has ended, where a piece of your heart still searches for what it has lost. If that is how you feel tonight, please know there is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not alone. You are not failing. You are simply standing in the place where love and loss meet, and that place can feel unbearably heavy. But for now, you do not need to find all the answers. You do not need to know how healing will happen. You do not need to figure it out. How to carry tomorrow. Tonight, you only task your only task is to breathe, to rest, and to let yourself be exactly as you are, confused, heartbroken, numb, hopeful, lost, or somewhere somewhere in between. Because this journey is not asking you to be strong, it is only asking you to take one gentle breath and then another and another until little by little your heart begins to understand. Then, even after the fall, you are still here, breathing, loving, and somehow still moving forward. As you continue to rest here, allow yourself to notice the quiet that surrounds you, not the peaceful kind of quiet, but, but the strange silence that often follows loss. The silence has arrives after the phone stops ringing, after the visitor leaves, after the masses become less frequent, after the world slowly returns to its ordinary rhythm, while your own heart still struggles to understand what has happened. Because grief is not always loud, sometimes it is found in the smallest moment, in the empty chair at the dinner table, in the song you can no longer listen to, in the habit of reaching of someone before remembering that things have changed. And perhaps that is the hardest part, the way life continues moving forward, even when a part of you wishes it would stop for just a little while. Morning still arrives, people still laughs, the streets are still full of noise, and yet inside your heart there is a silence that feels impossible to explain. Maybe you have experienced moment when you wanted to tell someone about your day, only to remember that the person you wanted to tell is no longer there. Maybe you have caught yourself expecting a message, a voice, a familiar presence before reality quietly settled in once again. Loss has a way of turning ordinary moment into painful reminders. A cup of tea, a favorite movie, and old photographs, a place you once visited together. Suddenly, the simplest things carry the heaviest emotions, and sometimes the silence becomes so overwhelming that you begin to feel it with questions. Question about the past, question about the future, questions that may never have clear answers. You wonder if you could have done something differently. You replay old conversations. You research for meaning of moments that have already passed. But tonight, you do not have to solve those questions. You do not have to understand everything. You only have to sit with yourself exactly as you are. Take a slow breath in and gently breathe it out. Think about it. You are alone in their house. Every room is still. The world outside has fallen asleep. For a moment, the silence feels unbearably heavy, but then everything else, the soft sound of your own breathing, your own heart, the quiet breathing of your heart, prove that even at the emptiest moment, life is still moving within you. Perhaps a grief makes us believe that silence means emptiness, but maybe silence only the space where love used to speak, the space where laughter once lived, the space where memories still remain. And although the silence can feel painful, it also reminds us to something beautiful, that what we lost matter deeply, that what we loved was real, that the connection we shared left its marks upon our hearts. Tonight, you don't have to feel every empty space. You don't have to force yourself to feel better. You don't have to pretend that the silence doesn't hurt. Instead, to allow yourself to rest beside it, allow yourself to breathe within it, allow yourself to simply exist without expectations, without pressure, without guilt. Because healing does not begin when the silence disappears. Healing begins when we stop running from it, when we sit quietly beside our pain and whisper to ourselves, I am still here. Take another slow breath in and let it go. The silence may still be here tonight, but so you are, still breathing, still feeling, still carrying love. And for now, that is enough. As the night grows quieter and your breathing becomes slower, allow yourself to notice something that grief often hides from the rest of the world, the weight of absence. Because loss is not only about what happened on a particular day, it is about all the day that comes after. It is about walking up in the morning and realizing that someone else is carrying the weight of your silence. And your breathing becomes slower. Allow yourself to notice something that grief often hides from the rest of the world. Emptiness follows you everywhere. You lost yourself in the conversation, and then suddenly, without warning, the absent returns. A smell, a photograph, a song playing in the distance, and in a single moment, your heart remembers everything. Perhaps you wonder why grief returns when you least expect it, why healing never seems to move in a straight line. One day you feel stronger, the next day, even the smallest memory feels impossible to carry. But grief has never followed rules. It moves like the ocean. Some waves are gentle, others arrive without warning, and none of them means that you are moving backward. They simply means that you love deeply. Take a slow breath in and gently breathe it out. And imagine yourself carrying an old suitcase. At first, it feels impossible heavy. Every, every step takes effort. Your arms ache, your shoulders grow tired, and you begin to wonder if you can carry it any further. But as time passes, something unexpected happens. The suitcase does not disappear, the memory inside it remains. The love remains, the remains, but little by little you become stronger. Not because the pain becomes smaller, but because your heart slowly learns how to carry it. And perhaps that is one of the most difficult truth about grief. We do not leave our losses behind. We carry them with us in the stories we tell, in the habits we keep, in the love we continue to feel. There may be days when you look at other people and wonder how they seem so unaffected, how they laugh so easily, how they continue their life while you are still carrying this invisible weight. But remember, everyone carries something. Some carry heartbreaks, some carry regrets, some carry dreams that never come true, and some carry the absence of someone they loved more than words could ever express. You are not alone in this, even if it feels that way tonight, even if the room around you is silent, even if no one truly understands the shape of your pain. There are countless hearts across the world laying awake beneath the same sky, trying to make peace with their own emptiness. You are not alone, and perhaps for just a moment, you can let the through comfortable your thoughts comfortable, right? Take another slow breathe in and let it go. You do not need to prove your strength. You do not need to rush your healing. You do not need to force yourself to become the person you were before because grief changes us. Loss leaves its fingerprints on our hearts, and although life may never looks exactly the same again, that does not mean that beauty has disappeared forever. Tonight, if the absence feels heavy, you don't have to fight it. You don't have to carry it perfectly. Simply acknowledge it. Whisper softly to yourself, yes, something important is missing. Yes, my heart still hurts. And yes, I am still here, still breathing, still loving, still carrying memory that matters. And even emptiness, even in the silence. The love that created this grief remains quietly living inside you like a small light, refusing to go out. As the night grows deeper and the world around you becomes quieter, there is something else that often awakens inside grief. Questions. Questions that arrive without warning and stay long after everyone else has gone home. Questions that circle endlessly through the mind, searching for answers that may never come. Perhaps you have asked yourself, why did this happen? Why now? Why them? Why me? And perhaps there are nights when your thoughts return to the past, replaying moment again and again, looking for something you missed, a different choice, a different conversation, a different ending. Maybe you have wondered whether one small decision could have changed everything. Maybe you have imagined yourself going back in time, standing in that exact moment and saying the word you never had had the change to say. Human hearts do this when they are hurting. They search, they replay, they question, because accepting loss can feel impossible. If only we could understand it, perhaps the pain would disappear. If only we could find the answers, perhaps your hearts could finally rest. The grip rarely gives us perfect explanations. Sometimes life changes without warning. Sometimes good people suffer. Sometimes love remains, even when the person we love is gone. And perhaps the hardest truth of all is realizing that some questions do not have answers, not because you failed to find them, but because some mysteries are simply larger than us. Take a slow breathe in and gently breathe it out. Imagine yourself walking through an endless library late at night. Rows upon rows of books surrounded you. Each book certain a memory, a conversation, a dream, a moment you wish you could relive. And somewhere in that vast library, you search for a single book that explains everything. The book that tells you why things happened the way they did. The book that removes all regret. The books that takes away the pain. But no matter how long you read, how long you search, that book never appears. At first, this realization feels unbearable because your heart desperately wants certainty. It wants answers. It wants a reason. But perhaps healing does not begin even every question is answered. Perhaps healing begins when we slowly accept that we may never understand everything. That that is not a failure. This is simply part of being human. You are not weak because you still ask questions. You are not broken because you are still wonder what could have been. Questions are the language of a grieving heart. They are proof that something mattered deeply, proof that love once lived there, proof that your heart is still trying to protect what it has lost. Tonight, you do not have to silence those questions. You do not have to force yourself to stop wondering. Simply notice them, watch them drift through your mind like clouds cross a day sky and then dark skies. You don't have to chase them and you don't have to solve them. Let them come and let them go. Take another slow breathe in and gently release it for just little, for just this moment. Imagine sitting all those questions down beside you, not forever, just for tonight. Imagine giving your tired mind permission to rest because your heart has carried enough for one day. You have searches enough. You have worried enough. You have replayed enough memories. Tonight, you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to sit in the quiet without needing every answers and perhaps deep breathe all those questions. There is one truth that has always reminded you loved, you cared, you hoped, and even those laws have changed. You would, the love that created these questions still lives inside you. So as the night continues and sleep slowly begins to pull you closer, let your questions rest beside the stars of a little while. They do not need answers tonight. Tonight, you only need peace, one breath, one heartbeat, and one gentle movement, stillness at the time. My beautiful souls, you are safe there. You are want to rest there. You are you are behave as you are. If you are tired, so tell I am tired. If you are angry, as you can. Everything is normal because you are human. The night is still here. The stars are still shining above you, and the memories are carry have not disappeared. But perhaps something inside you has changed, not in the dramatic way, not all at once, just a small shift. So quiet that you almost didn't notice it. Because healing really arrives like a sunrise that suddenly feels suddenly fills the entire sky with lights. More often, it arrives like the first pale color appears on the horizon, the tiny reminders that darkness does not last forever. Perhaps you have already experienced a moment like this, a morning when getting out of the bed felt a little easier, an evening when you laughed without forcing yourself, a day when your heart felt lighter, even if only for a few moments, and maybe those moments frightened you, maybe your thoughts What if this feeling disappears tomorrow? What if I am only pretending to be okay? But healing is not a straight path. Some days will feel brighter, some days will heavier again. And that doesn't mean you are moving backward, right? It is simply means that your heart is learning how to carry love and loss together. Take one, a slow breathe in and gentle breathe it out. Imagine yourself sitting beside the ocean just before dawn. The sky is dark, the wave moves quietly in front of you. For houses, you look the houses, a lighthouse, some normal fisherman house, still are silent. You are just quietly sit down in front of those waves for hour. It has felt as though the sun would never return. And then, far away in the distance, you notice the smallest line of the golden light. The darkness has not disappeared. The stars are still visible, but something has changed. Morning is not morning is not its way. Perhaps hope is like this, not loud, not perfect, not constant, just a small voice inside your heart whispering, maybe tomorrow won't hurt this much. Maybe I can survive this. Maybe life still has something beautiful waiting for me. Tonight, you don't have to force yourself to believe those words. You don't have to force yourself to believe those words. You don't have to convince yourself that everything will be fine. You only have to remain open to the possibility that your story is not over yet. Because grief often convinces us that our happiest days are behind us. It tells us that the best part of life have already ended. It tells us that we will never feel whole again. But grief does not know that the future. It only knows the pain of the present moment. Your future still holds strong things you cannot yet imagine, conversation you haven't had, place you haven't seen, friendship you haven't formed, moment of peace you haven't experienced. And although none of those things can replace what you lost, they can exist beside your memories. Take another slow breath in and slowly let it go. Think about how many difficult days you have already survived. Think about all the morning when you believed you couldn't continue, and yet somehow you didn't. You did. You are here tonight because a part of you refused to give up. A quiet part of your heart kept breathing, kept hoping, kept searching for light. Even in the darkness, even if the darkest moment, and perhaps that quiet strength deserve your gratitude. You don't have to become a different person tomorrow. You don't have to wake up healed. You only have to take one more breath, one more step, one more sunrise, little by little, without rushing, without pressure. The light will begin to reach places inside you that have been hidden in darkness for a very long time. And one day you may look back at this version of yourself, the one laying here tonight, carrying one more step, carrying so much pain, and you will realize something beautiful. You survived, not because you were fearless, not because you never broke down, but because even in your deepest grief, you keep going. The tonight, as sleep slowly wrapped around you, allow yourself to hold on this tiny, fragile truth. The darkness may still be here, but somewhere just beyond the horizon, morning is already on this way. The person who began this journey is not exactly the same person who is here right now, and perhaps the realization feels sad. Perhaps this is a part of you still miss the version of yourself that existed existed before the heartbreak, before the goodbye, before life becomes divided in before and after, right? The way you used to dream, the way the future once felt simple and certain. And sometimes grief is not only about losing someone else, sometimes it is also about mourning the person you used to be, the version of yourself that believed some things would last forever, the version of yourself that never imagined life could change so quickly. Take one slow breath in and gently breathe it out. We have reached the end of this journey together. For the past hour, you have carried your memory through silence, through questions, through loneliness, through love, and perhaps as you lie here tonight, the pain is still here, the emptiness may still remain, there may still be things you wished had happened differently, words you wishes you had spoken. Moment you wish you could relieve, just one moment, just one more time, and that's okay. You do not have to leave this meditation completely healed. You do not have to leave this meditation completely perfectly fine. You do not have to wake up tomorrow with all the answers. Healing was never the purpose of tonight. Tonight was simply about allowing your heart to rest for a little while, to stop carrying everything alone, to stop pretending that you are stronger than you feel, to stop fighting against the love that still lives inside you. Because grief was never a sign that something went wrong. Grief is the price we pay for loving deeply. It is proof that someone or something touched you, lived in a way that changes forever. Take one final slow breathe in and gently breathe it out. Feel the weight, your body resting beneath you. Feel the cushions, quietness of the night around you. Notice that in this very moment you are safe. You have survived every difficult day that brought you here, every sleepless night, every heartbreak, every moment when you thought you couldn't continue. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still loving, still hoping. And maybe hope doesn't look the way it once did. Maybe hope is simply opening your eyes in the morning. Maybe hope is making yourself a cup of tea. Maybe hope is allowing yourself to smile for a few seconds without guilt. Even when life feels unbearably heavy and it tonight your heart still feels broken, please remember it. Broken hearts still beat, tried soul still heal, and even the darkest night eventually make room for the dawn. So for now, you don't need to figure out tomorrow. You don't need to carry the entire future on your shoulders. Let tomorrow wait. Let your questions rest. Let your memories settle beside you. And as sleep slowly finds way to you. Imagine placing all your love, all your sadness, all your regrets, and all your hopes into the hands of the night. You have carried them for long enough. Tonight, you deserve to rest until we meet again. Sleep peacefully, breathe gently, and take good care of yourself. Good night, my beautiful souls, my all warriors. Good night to all of you. Healing is a journey, not something that happens overnight. If this meditation brought you even a little comfort, I invite you to return to it whenever your heart needs support. Give yourself the time and space to heal at your own pace. There is no deadline for grief, no right way to heal, and no timeline you need to flow or follow this channel. And if there meditation you had like me to there is a feeling you would like to explore, feel free to leave a comment below. Until then, take good care of yourself. Okay, good night to all of you. Good night.